They bout to look at the shit that I'm on, why don't we get in topic? Crew looking like Pentatonics, locked in, recording in tropics. In the East Bay 3, big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Talk biz while smoking exotics, we lit, never thought about it. Just they bout to look at the shit that I'm on, why don't we get in topics? Sitting way back, all black, I'm talking, feeling like Shaq, I weigh my options. In the East Bay 3, big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Talk biz while smoking exotics, it's saucy, all the projects, it's saucy.
What's up? RCR Presents MSD Sports, and we back at it at episode number 13. My name is Sam, also known as Wabi K, and we got Mikey, and we got Camden, and let's get it, Mikey, introduce yourself, Mikey, introduce yourself.
Wow, what a wonderful introduction, Mr. YBK. It's your boy, Michael John, MJ, coming at you from the 02135. We getting cold on the East Coast over here. We had some snow, and it's only getting colder. Throwing it back to my guy, Camden.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what it is? It's your boy, Camden Lee, a.k.a. Mr. Club Paradise. I'm here in the 90250. It is a little chilly. Not as cold as it is on the East Coast. I can't lie. I ain't see no snow in a minute. Just them early mornings. But other than that, oh my goodness, it is episode 13. I'm with the best trio ever assembled. I can't believe it. MSD Sports, back at it again. We got a great episode for you. Mr. GM Sam,
yes,
what's on the docket today? What's on the docket?
MSD Sports, episode 13. Today we're going to talk about the NFL Conference Championship games, everybody. AFC, NFC. The NFL picks we chose so far. NFL recaps, some quick Super Bowl thoughts, NFL coach hirings, and we're going to move on to the NBA. What's happening to Jimmy Butler? NBA hot stove. TGL Golf League? Question mark? We got a lot of news to talk about, everybody, but we're going to start off with the Commanders versus the Eagles at Lincoln Financial, everybody. Eagles dismantle these Commanders 55-23, which marks the record-breaking score for a NFC Championship game. Everybody, Jalen Hurts. 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 tutty. Mr. Saquon Barkley, 118, 3 tutties. And of course, A.J. Brown, we're going to finish it out with 96 yards and a tutty. I mean, Jaden McDaniels did his thing. But man, oh man, fly, Eagles, fly. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Everybody, talk to me, guys. How'd you guys feel about this game?
Listen, guys. You know what I mean? First off, I want to shout out to my boy Nick. You know what I'm saying? My man, Black Jew. You know what I'm saying? You know, we were at a wonderful establishment, Hooters.
Oh.
And we was watching the game, and the Eagles just dismantled the Commanders. It was a really great time. I mean, shout out to my boy. He had some big money on the game. He told me early in the season that the Eagles were gonna take it, and I had to jump on the bandwagon, especially with my boy GM Sam. I mean, guys, if you watch the game, you could see that the Eagles were just a little bit better, just a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more poised. You bring in a rookie quarterback to come in to this amazing defense. I mean, Mikey, I know Jaden Daniels was your guy, but what was going on with the rest of his team? He didn't fail them. I know he had 1 pick at the end of the game. I put some money on that because I knew, listen, rookie quarterback in a championship game, even Aaron Rodgers be throwing picks. So I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. I thought my boy Jalen Carter was going to get a sack, but it happens. It is what it is. We're going to feast next week or in 2 weeks. But please, Mikey, talk to me. Did you feel like Jaden Daniels was there? Like, come on.
Sam, you love to call him Jaden McDaniels. I love it.
I can't believe I said it again. I didn't even think about it.
When you put a 50 burger in the NFC Conference Championship, you can call him Jaden McDaniels. You can't blame him. The truth is, this is the big issue that I think really the biggest difference was being able to run the ball, because they couldn't run the ball. When Jaden Daniels is your leading rusher all year as a rookie quarterback, they need to get a running back or draft a running back in the second round, high second round or whatever, because you could find serviceable running backs in the draft. You don't need to draft like a first round Ashton Jaunty. You can get a second, third rounder. There's always good running backs out of the second, third round. Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler had like a combined 50 yards together on 20 carries, whereas Jaden Daniels had like 5-6 carries and had what I think an equivalent amount of yards that they did. Really, the issue was just turning the ball over. If the Commanders didn't fumble the ball 4 times and lose all 4 fumbles, then like the game is completely different. But that's how it goes. I don't think the stage was too bright for Jaden Daniels, and even the pick in the end of the game is because you have to be pushing the ball down the field because you're down by 1,000,000 points. So I really think if there's one highlight player that stands out, it's maybe the best running back season we've ever seen, especially if he can put up a $150 and 2 tutties in a couple weeks and the Eagles win the game and it has to do with clock control and keeping the ball on the ground, then Saquon Barkley might be having the best year I've ever seen from a running back. Definitely maybe the best year I've ever personally seen, like watching a football season from beginning to end myself. So for all the things you guys highlighted, I'm surprised that Saquon wasn't the first, because if y'all first tote, boy gets 1 tote, first tote of the game to the house. So
I mean, here's the thing. We all know Saquon's going to be Saquon. I felt like I wasn't worried. You know what I mean? I knew he was going to go for at least a buck, maybe a touchdown or 2. It was really tough odds on 1 touchdown, so you had to go for 2 if you're trying to make any money. The thing that when I'm watching the game, there was a couple things that really stood out to me. You know what I mean? One, the Philadelphia Eagles have not let opponents run the ball the last 2 weeks. So I don't even know if it's a running back issue. That front 4 has really shown that these guys mean business. On top of that, you got a back end guys who can truly just wreak havoc when it comes to holding guys down. One guy I really want to shout out on Washington is my boy Scary Terry. I felt like against Slay, you did a decent job to at least keep the momentum going. Obviously, also a big guy I want to shout out, Zach Ertz.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was kind of like, hey, the Philly kind of let him go a couple of years ago. Didn't feel like he was valued anymore.
Yep.
Washington, you know what I mean? He's jumped from a couple of teams. Washington has picked him up this year. He signed a nice contract. He's with a coach that he loves. I think it was a great game for him. You know, you have all of these veteran players, right? You got Terry, who's you know, probably shown that he might be a top 5, top 10 wide receiver, you know, in this league. You got Ertz, you got Eckler, you know what I mean? You even had Jamison Crowder, you know what I mean, running on the field. He caught a catch. Does Jaden Daniels need more veteran leadership, or does he need more young dynamic stars to kind of give him that extra push? Because I just felt like, you know, other than that fake punt, they had no real business even looking like they were going to win that game.
I feel like I give credit to Jaden Daniels this year, of course, as a rookie quarterback to reach it this far. I feel like his skill set and the people that he has is great, but I feel like he just needs more time, right? This is his first year. This kid is just running in his first year in the NFL. Made it to the semis, right? Like the conference championship, so I give credit to that. But I want to give credit to the other quarterback that gave that W, Jalen Hurts. We talking about his passing game for the past playoff games, and like I said last episode, I think 2 episodes ago, I mean, I wasn't worried, and he kind of showed it to us, doing 20 for 28, 246 yards. I mean, he passed the ball to everybody, but that touchdown to A.J. Brown really showed and proved that I'm not worried, and that's correct. And I feel like the Eagles got away with that, with the passing game, well as the rushing game too. But I give that kudos to Jalen Hurts watching this game. He performed.
I mean, unlike Jaden Daniels, who, like you said it, David, I think perfectly, that like he's got all of like the bums that other teams cut and has made them play well, minus Terry McLaurin, who's been with the organization. Not to say they're bums, but like all these other players, Austin Eckler and Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner. These were all players that were deemed as, you're no longer good enough for us to re-sign you to our team. And so Washington kind of ended up with veteran leadership. And that was the story of Dan Quinn this year. We're not going for talent. We're going for culture, because now you've built a culture. So I think they made it as far as you can make it. Again, if you turn the ball over 4 times, in the other team turns all 4 turnovers into scores,
Points, yeah.
whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, you're not going to win the game in a playoff game. You're just not going to.
No.
Unless you're the Chiefs, I guess. Unless you're the Chiefs. But I will say, like you said, Sam, AJ Brown had a good game, which is good because now the media can kind of take a breather because he's reading his book on the sideline. Is he
Oh yeah.
disgruntled? Is he not happy with his role in the offense? The offense is predicated around the offensive line. Like, that's the truth. It's not about Jalen Hurts this year. It's not about Saquon Barkley. It's not about AJ Brown. It's not about Devontae Smith. It's not about Dallas Goedert. It's about Saquon Barkley and the offensive line. That's what it truly feels like to me. So you give Jalen Hurts all the time in the world to throw the ball. You only give up 2 sacks. You literally let him take 4 tush pushes in a row because Washington keeps jumping offside because it's an impossible to stop play. The offensive line is one of the best, if not the best, we've seen. Let them win the Super Bowl, and we could talk about where they rank in the terms of the lore of offensive lines, because this is one of them.
I mean,
Best
even
of
with
all time.
even with the banged up offensive line, like Landon Dickerson with Cam Jerkins like banged up, they still brought 7 tutties, rushing touchdowns with 229 yards.
Listen, that's more than the Dallas Cowboys all year, okay, in terms of rushing touchdowns, which is a crazy thing. And I mean, do we think that if Saquon wins this Super Bowl, that this is the greatest offensive line I think assembled in terms of running back or backfield in terms of a offensive line and a running back? There's, you know what I mean? Is this better than the AP? Is this better than the Dickerson in a sense? Because Dickerson didn't win the title that year. He won the rushing title, and he made the record, but he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Right.
It would be hard to say that it's not if they win the Super Bowl.
I mean,
So-
if they win the Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley is going to be the best free agent signing of NFL history, in my opinion.
Listen, I can't believe the Giants let that boy go. I mean, that's I would be kicking myself. And to think, I mean, what would Saquon look like if he wasn't at the Giants for so many years? What if he was and with a Philly for the last couple of years where, we've been, going through running backs, kind of jumping them out, in and out, things like that. So I'm really happy for Saquon. I'm really happy for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I mean? Again, I had them as my pick because, you know what I mean, for a couple weeks now, I knew they was coming to get this money. Mike, I do have one question for you, and I know Sam was mentioning a couple things about Jalen Hurts and his being able to throw the ball. 4th and 2, Scary Terry against AJ Brown. He catches that dime, looks like comes out like a raindrop in the puddle, comes up and catches that. Do you feel, and we're going to talk about that next game in a second, do you feel as though moving forward we're going to need to see more of that in the Super Bowl? Or is it just really Saquon? Because those moments, I felt like that 4th and 2 really let them know this is the men over here. This is y'all still JV, okay? This is still our division.
For what, the touchdown catch? The touchdown catch was nice.
Not the touchdown catch. The 4th and 2. It was 4th and 2. They had to convert, and they could have gotten 2 yards instead of Jalen Hurts throws the ball instead of passing it to Saquon. AJ Brown catches it over the boy right over on the side on the left-hand side of the hash, and they converted and they ended up going. And later that was set up for the touchdown.
Yeah, there was also, I feel like that's good. This new NFL era loves to go for it on 4th down. I've been saying to you guys for weeks, I'll mention this more later. Just keep that as a footnote. But going for 2 or going for it on 4th it's brisket for the biscuit. For me, we watched many Super Bowls get won for many years on conservative nature, and now the league isn't very conservative. There was a play where AJ drew the flag though before half. That was like a bigger play to me. In man coverage, drawing the pass interference on you, which gave them the 1st down and put them in scoring position. And no flag, Washington gets the ball back, and maybe instead of it being 27-15 at half, it's 20-15 or 20-18 if they can turn it into 3. It's why those sort of mistakes make a big difference, because it's the difference of it being 27 2:15, and then you get the ball and score, and now all of a sudden it's 34-15 and the game feels out of hand.
Yeah.
Versus
True.
it's a small momentum changer, but I felt like that was the touchdown catch was nasty. Fourth down conversions, you should feel like you can go to AJ Brown. Like, let's not act like he wasn't they traded for him, it was like you trading for a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
So should call it what it is. He's kind of had a down year, but a down year for AJ Brown is over 1,000.
That's a downy.
6-7 touchdowns still.
It's still nice. I think Jalen's gonna definitely need to throw in this upcoming game. Speaking of the next game, championship weekend, we had probably the biggest game in terms of anticipation all year. I think most of us, all three of us on this squad, really felt like this was going to be the championship game in the AFC, and it truly did not disappoint. We had the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills in Kansas City. And like your boy knew in the beginning of the year, my Chiefs heading to another Super Bowl. I mean, when we look at this game, it's not an eye-popping game in terms of stats. Okay, it was 32-29. And, Mahomes, he had 245 and a tutty. Xavier Worthy had 6 receptions, 85 yards. Travis Kelce, was pretty much doing cardio and blocking. And I had a wonderful game last week. Don't worry about me. You'll catch me in 2 weeks. And one of the biggest stars of the game, which, we're going to talk a little bit later, not Josh Allen, but James Cook. He had 13 carries, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns. We knew, if you guys haven't listened to this pod over the last couple of weeks, you knew it was my boy Mikey's man, Josh Allen, aka Superman. Versus the GOAT, you know what I'm saying? My GOAT right now, you know what I'm saying? The greatest, Patrick, my homeboy. And I'm gonna give it to my boy Mikey after I've already let you know that my homeboy took this money. And, how's Josh Allen feeling, brother? How's Cabo feeling these days? I just want to know. You know what I'm saying? It's not warm over here, but my boy's still playing. What's going on?
You guys see his face? He was so sad. I don't know if y'all watch like the compilation of Josh Allen every year.
Oh, from
2020, 2021,
Yep.
2023, 2024. Because that boy is... Hey, Mahomes said it too. He's like, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry it had to be us. I'm sorry you had to come see us. I feel like this year, this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the early years in the Brady era of this sort of football, minus the scramble rushing touchdown that Mahomes had, which was a nice play because it was. But even more so, it's just Andy Reid, dude. He is unbelievable at calling offense. Kind of like Mike Tomlin, equivalent on defense, who's figured out how to update the defense to match the new age of the NFL. It feels like Andy Reid has mastered the new age of offense because they tormented the Bills on short yardage situations with the little QB rollouts to the right for just first down plays. And then it was that player, what his name? Benford. When Benford got injured, Elam could not he couldn't. It was like basically throwing a football into a pool. Just, you know what I mean? Like you're a homie. As long as you could hit that ball into the pool, I ain't going to say it's like throwing a ball in the ocean because he still will make the tackle. He was there. You could catch whatever you wanted on him. They picked on him. So I have to give credit where credit is due. It felt like they did enough to win. The Chiefs did just enough to win. So that defense being able to make the fourth down stops, Sam, how did you see the game highlights? Did you watch it? I know Sundays is hard for you as a man of worship.
Let them know.
I caught the second half watching this game. I feel like Buffalo Bills did everything correctly. Josh Allen looked good. James Cook looked pretty good. Everyone kind of did their thing, but I just feel like the mistakes that they made, and I feel like the thing we always talked about this whole pod is the Chiefs always find a way to win. And I feel like there's a stat, I'm not really sure on like exactly the numbers and the percentage, but there's a stat where like if a team is down by a touchdown and they have a minute left to win, 66% of that wins, and that 66% of the teams that are in the situation wins that are down. 20% of that 66 is Patrick Mahomes. So when I heard that stat, I was like, wow, this is ridiculous. This is NFL history. But Patrick Mahomes has that 22% of that 66.
He's bumping your joint up from 40 to 60.
Yeah,
He's bumping your joint up
his-
from you
yeah.
not getting no loan to you getting a bag in this mug.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I saw, you know what I mean, online before the week was, Deere was watching Josh Allen had highlights. And even before the game, Josh Allen was watching Deere highlights. And I felt like, unfortunately, on that last couple throws, you know what I mean, that last drive when they should have handed the ball off to James Cook, who was running and dicing these boys.
Crazy.
He looked like a deer in headlights. I mean, Mikey, you said it best. At the end of the day, Andy Reid just knows how to win, and Patrick Mahomes knows when to turn on the juice. I think when it comes down to it, I've always said this throughout the playoffs: big time players make big time plays, and the Chiefs are just used to being in that position of pressure, and they relish in it. And I think this weekend we kind of saw that in both championship games, where we saw guys kind of crumble under pressure. Josh Allen, to me, is still Superman. I don't disagree with that. I still think, you know what I mean, he's a top 15 quarterback all-time playoffs. I think his resume shows the only time you've ever lost is to my homeboy. I think that speaks volumes. You know what I mean? And 3 points. It's not like it was, a blowout. So if the Chiefs win this, is Mahomes the GOAT?
Not yet. You got to win a few more.
You gotta win a few more.
Yeah, you might have to win a few more, or you might have to win one without Andy Reid or something. It's going to be hard. If he wins 5 in a row, like 6 in a row, then yes. But like,
if he wins his next one, if he comes back next year and wins it, then it's sure.
Maybe 4 in a row, maybe. Yeah, but I'd say like if he was putting up numbers like he did in his first 2 seasons doing this, and it was clearly Patrick Mahomes who was the reason they were winning, but now it's just like, this looks like a game manager to me, like Mahomes, this game. Like, it's like great plays, but to me, it's like he's just doing the right play. It's like, it's not like eye-popping to me. I think the 2 rushing touchdowns is like, wow, like you get him beat by Mahomes' legs, which is the funny thing, because you'd think like Josh Allen would be the one to beat you with your legs. And Josh Allen was the one who threw more touchdown passes than Mahomes, which is funny because I had it backwards on my bet slip. You know what I mean? I had Josh Allen rushing the touchdowns and Mahomes throwing them, but this is what I'll say too. What I talked about earlier about taking points when you have points. Those like it makes a big difference when you like. There was one 2-point conversion the Buffalo Bills go for in the first half because they got that penalty on the extra point, and instead of taking the point from the extra point, they decided to kick it. Then they went for another 2-point conversion to try to tie it in the third, and now you've lost 2 points. And because the Chiefs at that point were like, hey, if we go for 2 and get this, we'll be up 3. Boom, there's your 3-point difference right there, because Chiefs can convert their 2-point conversion, and you failed to convert 2. So I would say it's hard to think about these situations, but for me, I'd be thinking like, why don't you just take the 1 point? Because then if you score a touchdown, you're up by whatever 9 points, or you're up by 7, or you're up by 4 points instead of being up by 3, where they can tie the game. I just be thinking that sometimes.
I think what the issue is, I think Josh Allen has had that 13-second game with Mahomes a couple years back. I think him and McDermott have this PTSD. Like, when I play this guy, like, no matter what, if I play this man, he's going to whoop me. I can play him in my house, he's going to beat me. I can play him at his house, he's going to beat me. I can play him with a number 1 wide receiver, boom, he's going to beat me. I can play him with a rookie wide receiver, and, you know what I mean, he still beats me. Like, this is the thing. I think Josh Allen is just looking into the distance, wondering, what do I have to do in order to beat this guy? And one thing that I have to say, guys, it's not Josh Allen playing against Patrick Mahomes. It's the Buffalo Bills defense playing against Patrick Mahomes. And at the end of the day, McDermott is who's your daddy when it comes to Andy Reid. Okay, Andy Reid be wearing the pants. He be changing the diaper. He be letting you know at the end of the day, I am better than you. I can out-coach you. I'm smarter than you. I have the greatest quarterback in the league. And I didn't get a Pro Bowl. So
all right, let's address the two big plays that everyone's been talking about. You seen McAfee's podcast with them talking about it?
I did not. I don't know
if you'll be watching that.
We locked into MSD. It's difficult, but I did see the plays. I did see the plays.
The first one. Let's go to the one that came earlier in the game, the catch, if that's a catch or not. Because I feel like that's like, for me, even live time when we were talking, I was like, it looked like gravity helped him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard because the NFL be deciding what they want, and that's what we'd be talking about when does the referees give the Chiefs the calls? It ain't about who gets the most amount of calls. It's about who gets the calls in the most important moments.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we talked about it last week. MJ, you get the benefit of the doubt. Brady, you get the benefit of the doubt. It's just about the timing of it. We're talking about in an AFC Championship game that comes down to 3 points, and those things are going to be scrutinized. So for me, I'm watching replays. It don't really look like a catch, but you called it a catch on the field. So I don't think the evidence was indisputable to turn it around, but it certainly doesn't look like a catch to me.
I mean, when you're looking at it at first, you think it's a pick. So that's the thing at first. So I think at the end of the day, it's like it's more of there's a rule book where it says you have to maintain this, you have to do that, and we've seen over the years the Des Bryant, we've seen the Larry Fitzgeralds, we've seen so many situations where the refs have decided whether or not this guy's caught the ball, maintained the ball, and I love it, because this is the thing, and for some of you guys, you think about, oh, well, why don't the refs be robots? And why don't we have the player catch this and do all these things and whatever? Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Do you know how many holding calls there are in a game? Do you know how many holding calls that get called in a game? Do you know how many false starts are in a game? Do you know how many, there's too many things. Like pass interference. I mean, and this is the greatest thing too. If you know the rules, you know how to play. So
okay, but that doesn't answer the question. Was that a catch or was that
to me that's a catch? To me that's a catch. It's a catch. He had control. He had the ball.
Did he have control?
He had control.
Sam, do you think he had control? I think he had control after the ball had touched the ground.
You talking about when the Bills Hollins catch?
The catch by who was it? Worthy?
The Xavier Worthy catch.
Yeah, the Worthy catch.
I think that was a catch.
That was a catch.
I agree, but I feel like I want to say this, like in sports, I feel like at the end of the day, no matter how talented you are, no matter how many star player names you have in your squad, if you want to win it all at the end of the day, you need that little bit of luck. And what Mikey said too, that call at the right time on that fourth quarter, maybe 50 seconds left, it just happened to be that call. That's that luck that goes to that team, I feel like. And I feel like, like what you said too, David, like calls can be called anytime. And it's up to the ref, he throws the flag, right? And like he didn't call that one, the other play, how come he called that? It's also that whole comes to that factor of luck into the game too.
Yeah.
Well, that's the issue though with so where is this catch? I think is a disputable one. The spot of the ball, like in the fourth quarter drive with 13 minutes, Bills up 22-21. I don't understand why they can't pull a little technology like they have maybe in tennis, because we can't be having dudes with, I'm not saying take the chains away like they was saying a few years ago. Put a little chip in the ball so that we just know where it was and it's indisputable. Because you're right, we do need referees on the field to decide what's a roughing the hit, what's a roughing the passer, what's an unsportsmanlike conduct. What's a pass interference offense? What's a defensive pass interference, right? We do need those sort of, a robot can't judge that. You're not going to take refs away. Not suggesting that.
Right.
But to have one sideline judge run down the field in a first down marker, right? In front of the first down marker, and the other one run down and not be in the first down marker. It's like,
The other one, the one that said that wasn't a first down, was looking at the ball. The other one thought it was a first down just because it was a push, just because it was a push. So when you look at that play specifically, the one, he didn't cross the line. So it didn't matter what the situation was. The ball didn't cross the line.
It
And
looks like it does in the replay though.
no,
but they
not
didn't
even
call it on the field.
in real
No, but
time. In real time, it doesn't. Even in the replay, it doesn't. It doesn't look like Josh Allen gets. He looks like he got his back. And if I'm holding it, and if I'm holding the ball on my back, that's still 6 inches through my sternum. That's not crossing the ball.
I don't think we're watching the same plays then. Because I feel like if you watch the replay, the ball does look like, but it's because on the digital replay, that line is not the line of the chains. So that's the difference, right? Because it's on the TV. The yellow line they show us is not exactly where the chains are. But that's what we're talking about like human error, because one person marks it one area, and that's what you're saying, the 6 inch, that's the difference of like, we can't have human error.
It wasn't human error.
It is human error.
Look, if you look at the play, and this is the thing. I'm gonna tell you this, Sam. I'm not sure if you caught the game too much, but if you look at the play, there's 2 plays. One, he tried to extend when he did that touchdown or that thing earlier, and they hit the ball, and that's why he decided to go on his back and try to get through. And because he ain't got them big bulls, you know what I'm saying, them diesel joints like Mahomes, he don't be running through nobody. When it comes to the Chiefs, he decided, I'm going to decide to go in the back and go backwards. When he goes backwards, he stood straight up. His back, I will tell you this, his body is crossed the line, but the ball with his body did not cross the line. If he's a big dude, he's 6'4", 240. He's a big man. So listen, if it's not indisputable and he didn't fall, he can't get enough to get to
The thing is though, this is why but this is exactly what I'm saying. It wasn't indisputable either way. If they called that a first down on the field, people would have lived with it. You see what I mean?
Would have still thrown a flag in. I feel like people would have.
But that's what my point is. It shouldn't be going to that. I think for like the matter of like those situations, just like a matter of inches. I don't understand why there can't just be a little. Like, I'm not saying take the refs out, but put a little tracker in the ball. You could see, did the ball, because how many things with our iPhones can tell us how many inches we are away from something,
over the last 30 years, we've had so many plays, and maybe the last 20 or whatever, especially since we've been able to watch games and broadcast games more frequently. There's been so many plays where that has happened. So many games have been decided. And the difference between losers and champions is that champions take the games out of the refs' hands, and losers let the refs decide it. Kobe Bryant took the game out of the refs' hands. Michael Jordan took the game out of the refs' hands. After the catch on 28-3 with my boy Tizzy Brizzy and Julian Edelman, he took the game out of the refs' hands. That's what major players do, and Josh Allen got to get on it. That's all it boils down to. He got to get on it. You got to let him know.
Yeah, no, agreed that it doesn't that one play doesn't change the game. I just feel like you leave too much discussion when there's like a margin of error that is just associated with being a human. I don't think it's a hard ask to ask for that. Hey, let's just see what happens, I guess, in this next one for the refs, because I remember how the last Super Bowl ended between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Eagles. I still remember it because it was a great game, and I thought it was a horrible ending. And I'm sure Sam might have felt the same way too, like a ticky-tacky flag that ended that game.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's going so well.
Hey,
and that's the thing too. But are we gonna be like, well, it's the fourth quarter, so we're not gonna call this holding because they're on the 10 or the 30, and if they're out of the 30, you know what I'm saying, where there's holding all the time. There's all these things in certain situations where even like spots of balls or catches or whatever could be measured in a better way, but it doesn't bring the je ne sais quoi of the game, if that makes sense. It doesn't make the game really come as a game. It makes it seem like it's, you know what I mean? It's an organized, automated sport. Yeah.
I'll say this. If I was to make an analogy, one last analogy to like a tennis game, imagine if it was game point. Oh, David cut. Imagine if it was game point, Sam, in like a Grand Slam tournament, and you hit the ball and the referee called it out of bounds. thing. Like 30 years ago, it's out of bounds. But now, because the ball we could see, you know how they have the replay that
He does a
shows
little shadow like that thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, when we're not saying to do it every single instant of every game, we're just saying like when we need to like do it for
Get
a
into
certain
the dissect.
exactly when we need to see it for certain games.
I
You just
really like your idea on like having a chip in the ball. So like whoever has possession of it, like it has like the percentage of who has more like hand on it, or like who has more control percentage type. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like a nice. I'm sure there's a robo chip that can do that. I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, can't leave it to close plays. If you want to win, you got to win like the Eagles did. You
Yep.
know,
Definitely.
55 to
You gotta
23. You
throw him the
can't.
50-piece
You
bomb.
can't
Boom.
leave one. You can't leave one possession games to the Chiefs because we said this stat. It's the
Yeah.
NFL record, right?
Yeah.
17 games in a row
Yeah.
won
That's ridiculous.
that were decided by 7. When the game is decided by 7 points or less,
Yeah.
they've
That's
won
crazy.
17 in a row.
That's
So
I'm scared, but at the same time, not. I feel like very confident after seeing that 55 piece. Watching this AFC game, Bills Chiefs, it was a stress free. I was telling the people I was watching with, I was like, honestly, I don't really care who comes up. Like I feel confident, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you guys should feel confident. If you can force some pressure and get some turnovers, like maybe 1 or 2, then I feel like you're good. As long as you don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Hand that thing to Saquon. Jalen's going to be rested and he can run the ball. You've kind of saved his legs this year. Instead of letting him rush 9-10 times a game, it's been 6.
Wow.
So, I mean, my initial thoughts is interesting because like I don't love the fact that the Chiefs get another rematch in the Super Bowl because we saw them do this with the 49ers already.
Right.
And it was a great game. I just feel like it's same old song and dance, you know. But on the other hand, you got to appreciate greatness.
Right.
And we're seeing greatness. We're seeing all-time greatness right now.
I mean, if
4
Patrick,
Super Bowls in a row.
Exactly. If Patrick wins this one, no one won 3-peat here in the NFL, so that'll be a cool feat to see in terms of if the Chiefs side.
Yeah. Wow. So, hey, you see your boy Pete Carroll, the ex-coach of the Seattle Seahawks, has been hired to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Going to the Raiders.
Interesting hire, right?
What?
I feel like they're going in a bigger, different direction than Antonio Pierce, who had been their linebackers coach, elevated to interim coach, and then elevated from interim coach to head coach. He had a tough year. That's a tough team.
Yeah, this team
They couldn't get the quarterbacks. They ended up with
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, and Gardner Minshew
got
that's
hurt.
what they signed, and then
wow.
it's like it's not gonna cut it.
It's a mess right now in that team. Jacoby Myers is their wide receiver 1. Oh, they got that breakout Bowers guy.
Brock Bowers is nice though. Yeah, they got at least something
well
to be proud of.
Over 1,000.
Yeah,
but that's an interesting hire though. On how I wonder what their direction is gonna go to.
I feel like it's a paradigm shift. Like, let's go for an older veteran coach with the veteran presence versus how Antonio Pierce was like young guy. So it's weird that sort of the new mindset in the NFL is all these young guys, but I feel like they're hip to the game.
Yeah, these young guys.
I mean, sorry guys, we have some technical difficulties. We're just talking about technology, and look what happened.
Yeah.
So I gotta jump right on it. No, I mean when it comes to, I think Pete Carroll, he's just one of those guys that can truly transform a team. He went to USC, he was great. He went to the Seahawks, he was great. Even when he was transitioning for the Patriots before Belly got there, he did a little bit of the groundwork. So, I don't feel too bad about this hiring. I am a little concerned about this 3-year plus a 1-year option. He's 74 years old. That will put him to possibly 78, being one of the oldest head coach to ever kind of be on this team or on a team. How are we feeling about that? Do we feel like, he deserves a longer contract, or the Raiders have been burnt so many times they're like, nah, we got to take a second?
you don't want to overcommit to someone at that stage. But he's like Billy Belichick. They grown. We be electing presidents hella old. So I guess you could elect a head coach, right? Y'all seen the clips of him throwing balls to the players? Sheesh, they might have to put Pete Carroll in instead of Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Wait, Pete Carroll's 74 years old?
That's what I'm saying. It's old geezer look.
What? Damn,
Old
what the
geezer
hell?
look.
Jesus.
What?
Old geezer
I did not
look.
know he was that old. Wow, he looks young for his age.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
a player's coach, though.
Yeah.
He's a player's coach from what people say, right? He friendly as hell. You see, Marshawn was happy to see him. You know, Marshawn moved on from not getting the tote.
Yeah.
Not getting the tote on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line. So, what about Sam? Your division rival Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer. How the hell you get rid of Mike McCarthy, then you hire the former offensive coordinator under him?
What?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. What are they doing? I feel like they lost it right now. I don't know what is going on in that franchise. There's question marks all over the place with all their players right now.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
I mean,
goodness.
listen, the Dallas Cowboys have been a dumpster fire for a couple of years now. Not in terms of the media. We love to talk about them. Everybody, ESPN loves to talk about
True.
them. You know what I mean? The problem is that they don't do nothing. They try to get all these off-season things. They try to spark up the things what's going on. Make it make sense, okay? I got the OGs. I got the MSD crew. I'm gonna go hire the cameraman or the AV, you know what I mean, manager to come and replace Sam or myself or the great Mikey. That don't make no sense to me. So come on. I think you had some big names that you sparked the media with. You had guys like, I don't know, Deion Sanders. You had other guys like maybe possibly Bill Belichick. But no, you decide to get, I don't know, an underling. Just make it make sense. You're gonna run pretty much the same thing he ran last year. I mean, Mikey, does it make sense to you? Like, is
I have no
Jerry's world
clue.
just? I'm
I have
like,
no, yeah. I think maybe because he's the son of Marty Schottenheimer, and that's like a little bit before our time. Like he was like a very outspoken and kind of iconic for that. I guess notorious for that. He had a nasty mouth, Marty Schottenheimer, but he
hmm.
got the players to play hard. So we'll see. Maybe it's that name. The namesake helps. The comfort and familiarity that you bring. And Jerry's just trying to do what he's been doing for the last 30 years, I guess. He's selling.
Oh, run the team, own the team, say what's happening in the team, coach the team without being the coach. He
Yeah.
should just grab the clipboard and be downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Listen, I think I said it. He was on a clip of this wonderful TV show Longman. If you haven't checked it out, he did a great cameo. He needs a full-time job. Come on, guys. I don't know what's happening. You trade a fourth-round pick for a wide receiver that's only had 2 targets and not even any touchdowns all year. When Devontae and some other guys, like, I don't know, DeAndre Hopkins were for a fourth-round pick. Make it make sense to me. Jerry's 81. I don't know.
They only got that 12th draft pick for the Cowboys, so let's see who they draft and let's see what direction they go to this year. Just laughing stock right now.
Well, we'll be able to talk some Super Bowl coverage soon, guys.
sir.
But for the listeners, we're gonna hit y'all with a very special Super Bowl coverage episode. So
We're gonna get on it.
We'll be back
We're
with some
gonna get on.
NFL talk. It ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. But before we move, head out for the night, I would love to talk a little bit about NBA.
Yes, sir.
I
I'm
mean,
down. Let's
there's been a
get it.
subject,
Come
I
on.
feel like that we've had on the plate for weeks, and it keeps getting spicier. Who thought it could even hit a fever pitch like this?
Oh my god.
Mr. Jimmy Buckets. Himmy.
Hmm.
What happened to Himmy? Himmy Buckets. Jimmy. Indefinitely suspended, guys?
Oh my gosh.
I
What is
mean,
going-
I didn't think it was going to get this bad.
This is just a tell for where Miami is at in terms of where the Jimmy saga is. We first talk about, okay, he's possibly wanting to get traded. He said, hey, I want to trade. Let's get this happen. Then they want to suspend him for a couple games. Then he comes back to the team. Then they suspend him for a couple of games. Then he runs out of practice. Trade the man. Okay? You got Bradley Beal's wife and kid crying at his game saying, trade your bum behind for Jimmy Butler. Just trade him so Bradley can go. You know what I'm saying? And that's just I just feel like an indefinite suspension, Mikey, I think is just unfair. I think I think the Players Association needs to talk about it. It's not like he's not able to play. It's not like he's hurt. It's not like he's doing anything detrimental to the team. He's just saying, listen, guys, I want to leave. Why haven't I left yet?
I feel like when trade rumors happened from the beginning, from the get, the Heat was asking for too much. And I feel like the Heat was like, I want like maybe like 2 first round, maybe give me like another star player and maybe like another second. And I felt like the teams were like, whoa, you going too much for this guy. And then the drama sparks, and now the team is suffering with all this drama. Now it's to the point where it's like, yo, we just have to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing from news reports saying like now his value has dropped in trade stock. So now teams are back to being interested. So it's like there's a whole circle going on, and I feel like it's a mess. And Jimmy just needs to get out of Miami right now.
Yeah, they need to get rid of him because he has the player option to stay next year, which he said he plans to invoke already because it's 53 mil.
That's a lot of money.
They just got to find another suitor because the Suns are down to take him. They just need another suitor because they can't take on that 53 mil. Because I don't think the Heat want Bradley Beal's contract. So they're going to have to work out a way to swap with a third or fourth team if the Suns want to get it to work.
True.
And I also was reading that Beal for Levine might be something that's in the works right now because Beal might be down to go to Chicago. Because it would put him as basically the primary scorer there back into I'm the primary scorer.
That's true.
And then Zach LaVine gets to play with
KD.
two great players.
That's
KD
true.
and Book. So it's an equal contracts essentially. I think Beal is going to make 50 next year, and LaVine is on close to that pace. So
do you think LaVine, KD, and Book have there's going to be enough ball to pass around for that? Whereas like Jimmy's more of like those clutch times when Book's not hot. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think that they would prefer Jimmy Butler for sure. It's all about if they can get the teams to make the cap work because what they call it, the third apron or the tax.
Yeah, I was gonna say you know a little bit more about the cap. Can you explain to our audience just a little bit more so that they can have a little bit better understanding? Like
in layman's terms, they're paying too much money for the players they already have, so they can't take on Jimmy Butler's contract without dumping Bradley Beal. And if Miami doesn't want to do Beal for Jimmy, they need to find another team that wants Bradley Beal that would take on his $50 million contract that's expected. Otherwise, it would put them over the limit of what you're allowed to spend for the players.
Yeah, you're going 51 to KD, 50 to Bradley, 49 to Devin. So yeah, you gotta
a lot of freaking money. You gave
50 to Bradley Beal. I know it's a lot of bread.
That's a lot of bread, dog. That's a lot of bread.
And Nurkic and it goes down to like Nurkic 18, Grayson Allen 15. The big gap. Big gap.
They're trying to dump Nurkic too. They've been benching Nurkic for like 2 weeks since he got suspended.
That's what they've been doing with Bradley Beal too. They've been benching Beal.
They're going to try to get rid of his contract. So I think the Warriors, I've been saying it for weeks, like before it was like a hot pick. Like I still think I would give Wiggins a first round and 2 young players. Who you want? Moses Moody? Poe
for Bradley?
For Bradley?
No, for Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yo, the Warriors were back to being interested after his trade value dropped.
Bro, just give him Wiggins, bro. Wiggins is
You know what I also saw too? Jimmy Butler, Timberwolves for Julius Randle and more.
He ain't gonna want to go back. That's the only thing I don't think.
You don't think he wants to go back to Minnesota?
I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna want to. Right. So, if you want to get a good player right now, the fact that the Kings have made it official that they will hear trade offers for De'Aaron Fox, I think that's the one that I would be willing to give up like all-star caliber player for, because I like De'Aaron Fox, young, efficient scorer, can dish the ball, averaging 25 and 6 right now. I feel like I would push for him a little bit harder than I would push for a Bradley Beal or a Jimmy Butler even, just for the sake of the age. Because I think Butler is for a championship contender team.
Yeah.
And Beal or De'Aaron Fox is like a younger team looking to maybe have a piece, or Bradley Beal is just getting paid so much that 50 mil is hard. I'd rather take 50 million in Jimmy Butler, who has that playoff experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. I feel that too. I mean, Jimmy is just, even if Jimmy's not going to be great during the regular season and maybe be a little bit of a diva, Jimmy's going to be great in the playoffs. And I think that's what Phoenix is really looking for. I mean, if Jimmy could, there's a lot of teams that I wish, especially the Warriors. I mean, that's a big team that I'm looking at. Can the Warriors really transition and maybe do something during these years of Steph Curry? I mean, he's still playing at a high level, but I can tell that he's getting frustrated. So how do we feel about Miami as a organization doing this to Jimmy Butler? I know, we're talking about let's get Jimmy out of there. Do we feel like the NBA PA needs to monitor this situation a little bit more moving forward? Do we need to be talking about, hey, if players are requesting trades, they shouldn't be fined? How are we feeling about that?
We just need to see what's going on with the pay, because if he's getting paid still, then what are you going to do? But if they're trying to say we're not paying you, then it's different.
Okay.
That's what I think. They do need to look into it, obviously, because just because someone's disgruntled doesn't mean you can tell them because he walked out of practice because you told him Haywood Highsmith is going to start now and that he's coming off the bench. Either play him or trade him.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at. Let him play because he's obviously the starter that would help you win, or trade him. So it's messy because it's hard to blame either side, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To where it's now at where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did it privately. We all, you know what I mean? Sham broke the news before he did it publicly. He did it privately, and then they wanted to say, no, we're not trying to trade nobody, and now we're in this.
It dates back to last season when Pat Riley said that nonsense about it. You should shut the hell up if you're not playing against the Celtics and Knicks. I think it was a little harsh for the player that carried your team through the playoffs and kind of brought the chip on my shoulder mentality. I'm a dog mentality that brought you to the finals. Yeah. So I guess we will, we'll wait for the next episode in the Jimmy Butler saga.
Jimmy.
Quick question for my guys, since we've had, it's been like almost a week, five days or so since. Where do I want to give y'all the last 5 game stats for SGA and Jokic and hear if we're still looking at SGA in pole position for that MVP.
All right.
So last 5, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 37.4, 6.2 assists, 4 rebounds in his last 5 games. He also tallied a total of 12 steals over 5 games. Not bad at all. Jokic over his last 5, averaging 27 points, 12.8 rebounds, 12.4 assists.
Triple-double?
Yes, sir. And he's got 9 steals and he's got 7 blocks over those 5. So, I mean, listen, this is a great playoff race.
Why you trying to smack me over the head with Jokic, man? Why you trying to just give me these stats just to rub it in my face? I know Josh Allen was your boy, and I know I beat him up a little bit early in the segment. Why you trying to beat him up, SGA? That's my guy. I mean,
he's balling.
He's balling. He's balling. He's going crazy. But I mean, those numbers, you put those numbers and you don't put the name next to it, you're picking those numbers every single time. Yeah. Those are 2K numbers. I don't know if any of y'all play 2K My Player, but I'll tell you this right now. If your 2K My Player was averaging those numbers, they win MVP every single year. I mean, that's just a triple-double. Triple-double with 27. Triple-double with 17, guys, or triple-double with 15. It's different. Triple-double with 27. It's like I could do 40. I could put a 40 on your head top every night, but I'm going to be chilling, and I'm going to let my boys score. That's just crazy.
Yeah. I will say they did lose their last two, which does make a difference, kind of. But we've also seen the Thunder lose twice to the Mavericks in the last 5 games. They can't beat the Mavericks for some reason, and that's no Luka. So that's a little concerning because the other teams they played were the Nets, the Jazz, and the Portland Trailblazers. So it's like that's pretty trash, right? I expect the Thunder to beat those teams, but Thunder are still sitting there at 37-8. So I think with that record, and hey, if you're still averaging 37, 6, and 4, and you got a dozen steals over those 5 games, 2.4 steals a game, I think he's still holding that first place, but just by a thread.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jim Sim, how do we feel? Are we think if SGA stays locked in with that Oklahoma City #1 seed that he might win his first MVP, or is Joker's numbers just too astronomical?
As of today, Joker's full regular season average is 30 points, 13.1 rebound, 10.2 assists. So right now, Jokic is #1, as I always said. 30-point triple-double, guys. This guy's bowling. On bowling. Let's go. Jokic, right now, would have been MVP. I'm so sorry, SGA. You a baller, but this man, triple-double. Oh, yeah, you got to give it to the triple-double. And you got them blocks going and them steals going, so, yeah.
The steals make a difference.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
1.8?
The steals make a difference.
1.8 steals a game is crazy.
Steals make a difference.
I'm finally going to relent and say that, I'm okay if SGA keeps the first place right now, but I do think, if it continues this way, Jokic is going to edge him out.
You think if the numbers stay the same, you think it'll edge him out?
Yeah.
Even if the Thunder's #1 seed?
I think so. If the Nuggets can squeak up to the 3rd or 2nd seed, then yes. But if the gap between first place and that Nuggets in 2nd or 3rd isn't that far, it'd just be hard to overlook that. So
I hear that.
Okay.
I hear that.
Celtics still struggling, like we was talking last week. They win one, they lose one. They win one, they lose one. So, but one team that's surging that I actually feel like, I know his stats ain't been crazy this year, so everyone's like he's not an all-star, but the Pacers are back on like a roll, kind of like how they was playing last year, because they're 15-5 over their last 20.
Wait, damn, that's a crazy. What?
Not bad.
15-5.
They were going
went crazy, bro.
A little bit, yeah. They were not doing well in the beginning of the season. I think with Halliburton kind of getting back and kind of getting that team in a better way. It took them a second. I mean, listen, the Celtics are going to be the Celtics. They're not playing for the regular season. I think the rest of these guys are. Even if we look at Indiana, Miami, Orlando, they're 500 teams, and they're in the 5th, 6th, and 7th spot in the East. So you know what I mean. The Celtics are 5.5 games back in first place. It looks like Cleveland might be able to hit you know what I mean, a really good number this year in terms of wins. It might be a 50-win team. Could be possible. Maybe a little bit more. But yeah, I'm not worried about my Celtics. I think they'll be all right. So one team that has been surging that I really do want to talk about. I know I just talked about the Celtics. That's my East Coast family. I love y'all. Y'all know what it is. But my Los Angeles Lakers at 26-19, they were hovering around that 8th spot, 9th spot. Now we're cranking it up a little bit, getting a little some money on the flow. Do we think we make a little bit of a trade and might be able to do some damage in the West?
And LeBron are kind of demanding to get somebody in their squad right now, because the other day, guys, I just saw AD drop 40-20. So
yeah,
I'm like,
AD is balling.
Yo, he's been going nuts. So I feel like it is time for them to get somebody.
Listen,
they cooking it up right now.
They cooking. Listen, it's great. A duo is great, but you need a trio if you're trying to be excellent. That's why MSD is together, baby. We the trio, the greatest trio ever assembled. I'm just letting you know. So I'm telling you, my Lakers need something because, they're rough. They're rough out here.
Cooking. AD is cooking though. You heard what he said though? AD's comments about he wants a 5 so that he could play 4.
Yeah.
He's been wanting to be the
Interesting.
natural. He's been wanting to play for a while.
For the whole
Kind of
time when he was in the Lakers.
But it's a weird thing to say when you're playing so dominant. That's my only like, huh? Like it's okay to say like we want talent. I just might not say, I don't know. I felt like that was a weird thing to say.
Well, think
Where it's
about
like-
it. This is who he's trying to get. He's trying to get somebody who can help him out with Joker in the playoffs. He understands, okay, I got these young guys that can do it. LeBron can still score. But if I'm at the 4 and I have a 5, a Jamel McGee, a Dwight Howard, we win a chip. And when I'm not at that natural position as a 4, which is who I am as a 4, I played point guard when I was in high school. I was running the pizzy. You feel me? Being as tall as I am. So I'm just saying, I like handling the rock. I like being out on the perimeter. Give me a 5 so I can do my thing.
We need Vucevic.
Bring him to the Lakers, baby.
We need
You're asking
Vucevic.
for a lot, though.
Bring him to the Lakers. Listen,
That's
I'll give him three second-round picks. I give you
Wow,
three.
3 second
three-
round. Oh, okay.
Of course, 3 second round. You know, second-round picks ain't nothing when it comes to the MSD Sports crew. Listen, let's give him 3 second-round picks and a player.
They're not going to give him up though for that because he's averaging like what 20 and 10.
20-10.
They're not going to give him up for that.
So I
He's
gotta
like
give him
40. He's a 40% 3-point shooter and he's averaging 20 and 10.
How old is this man? Okay, what are we looking like? How many years left on his contract? Can we see?
34. He's 34.
Oh, he's
so
kinda old.
That's what I'm
not
saying.
young.
He's not young. That's what I'm saying. Let me give a couple of my second round picks. Take one of my young bucks. Take a young player. Take
Fair.
Austin Reeves for all I care.
Wow.
Take Austin Reeves and toss me Vujicic for a little something. We'll be all right. I'll be chilling.
You know what I'll say? I will note. This is what I noticed, which is I think a weird thing for the Celtics this year because they were so good at home last year. Like the Celtics are 17-6 on the road, 15-9 at home. The Lakers are 16-6 at home, but 10-13 on the road.
Oh, damn.
They just gotta you got to learn how to win on the road. That surprises me right now reading that stat for the Celtics. Like they go into someone else's crib and win, but we take the foot off the gas at the crib.
There's
It's
less
weird.
distractions. Listen,
Yeah.
Mikey. You already know, okay? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You tall, handsome. You know what I'm saying? You can handle the rock. You can shoot the 3. You know you're gonna have the ladies from South Boston in their little section being like, "Hey, you know, Mikey D, what's the situation?"
Funny.
So you might get a little distracted from time to time because that section might fill up over the years where you've been in that little corner shooting your little 3. Listen, I just won a chip. I was in the Olympics. Listen, you know what I'm saying? Mikey D's a good looking dude. There might be a softball section for him. So just you know what I'm saying.
Playing in LA, it's Clippers too. 17-8 at home. Playing in LA, there's something comfy about
They
that.
feel good.
for
They
sure.
feel good at
It's
home.
nice. It feels nice. But when you know what I'm saying, you got your wife or your girl on one side. You got your side piece who's showing up to the game at the home joint. Then you got the South Boston shorties. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be difficult for you to be paying attention.
Yeah,
And you got to handle all those things.
You got the celebrities too. You know, you saw Austin Reeves when Jessica Alba pulled up. He was like Curry. He scored like 30 that game. He went nuts.
Listen, when the stars come out in LA, you know what we do.
gotta
We're
show
gonna
up.
ball out.
Yep.
We're gonna show up. We're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
show up. Listen, come on.
They was
with
joking
it.
about that. They was joking about that the other day. I forget who they said. They were like, "Wow, okay." He pops off. Sydney Sweeney comes courtside, and all of a sudden this fool pops off.
He's like, look at me.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Sam, your Rockets are still looking good. Last night they had a crazy game. They stole one from the Celtics, bro.
They were
Amen Thompson stole one.
What's his name? Dylan Brooksby. He scored like 35, I think, with Thompson.
he hit like 10
combined.
threes,
Combined
bro.
like
Man,
65.
chucking them up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Mikey, I think we talked about this. You know, there's a couple teams, a couple teams in the East, a couple teams in the West with some young blood that we really feel like if they can just get some continuity, it's going to be a great situation for them. You know, Houston is one of them. I think. You know, I'm really wondering, is Houston going to be that team that really takes the lead? Not this year, because I think it's going to be the Thunder, but I'm wondering if next year those young boys ain't gonna be young no more. Jalen Green ain't gonna have no baby no more. He gonna have a 1 or 2 year old. He gonna be able to focus. No more late nights. So I'm really excited, Sam. I mean, how do you feel about your Houston Rockets? Do you feel like they're a team to look out for the future?
They're in a very good, solid pace for the future. I feel like the addition of Amen last year, Sengun been ball and leadership role. Give Fred VanVleet, facilitator that leadership position, and you even got Steven Adams to kind of like take care of the big men too, as like a good like veteran presence. But I feel like overall the Rockets this year has been shown that youth. Like, yeah, we're the team that's growing. We're the team to look out for. But you're right, David. I feel like OKC's gonna definitely take that. But a very good projection over for the Houston Rockets, in my opinion, for the next couple of years for sure in their core here.
I'm excited.
Western Conference looks tough
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Looks
it's
tough. If
competitive.
you look at the top, everyone in a playoff position, the only team who has a losing record over the last 10 games is the Mavericks. Everyone else is at least one game above 500 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, they need their
That's
leader
crazy.
back. They need their leader
It's
back, the
crunch.
Mavericks.
Yeah, it's crunch time. Whereas you look at the East, the Cavaliers and the Celtics are both 5-5 in their last 10. So,
It's getting tight, getting right.
yeah, plenty of time. So,
The urgency's
all right,
coming.
well, I wanted to quickly touch on, and ask you guys if you have seen about the new TGL golf league that just popped up.
What's
That little
that?
Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy
Oh, what?
led
T-
league.
TGL.
What does that
Give me-
stand
give
for?
me-
What does that stand
What
for?
is, yeah, what is that? What does that mean?
TGL?
What's going on?
that?
Yeah, TGL. I heard PGA. Y'all know what I'm saying?
I heard Tiger Woods. I'm like, what?
What? That's what
Well,
I'm saying. Tiger
TGL
Woods.
is like it's this golf league that they've been coming up with. I feel like they wanted to make another golf venture that was kind of hip and fun and cool because you know how golf has gotten, how do you say, like it used to be looked at as stale. Then LIV came through and made their own golf league. This is more of like a spin-off, and it's all PGA players, if I'm not mistaken. But it's an indoor golf league, so it's kind of like golf sim meets the short game indoors.
Okay.
So
Huh.
Okay.
it's cool. It's like teams of golf, though. So the TGL means tomorrow's golf league too. That's what
Okay.
like the
Oh,
acronym
gotcha,
stands
gotcha,
for.
gotcha.
Tomorrow's golf
Okay.
league, but it's basically virtual golf is mixed with indoor golf. So there's 30 holes that were designed by a team who basically made some cool holes. I'll show you some pictures. We'll do this later. We can look at some and like kind of give our impressions of it. But some of them are cool, Sam, like a big ass volcano. One's like some kind
wow.
of triangular, like diamond type greens. It's crazy. And so the way the holes work is once you get within 50 yards of the hole, you play from the actual green that's inside of the stadium. So you use a huge golf simulator for all of your approach shots. And there's mixes of par 3, par 4, and par 5. There's 6 total teams in the league. You have Atlanta, Boston, the Jupiter Lynx, Los Angeles, New York, and the Bay Golf Club.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's 6 different teams, 4 players on each team.
Okay.
And when you play, there's 15 holes per match. The first 9 holes is we alternate. You hit first, I hit second, you hit third, and so forth. The last 6 holes, right, are head-to-head holes. You play a hole against that guy on their team.
Oh, okay.
1v1.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of cool if you like. I like the structure of it, and the way that it works is if you win a hole, you get a point. It's not -3, -4.
Like the golf stat.
Yeah,
I see.
If you win that hole, you get a point. If the hole is tied, it's 0 on that hole, and then whoever wins the game wins the game. So and it's kind of the point system is kind of like hockey or like footy because you get 2 points for a win, a point for an overtime loss, and 0 for a loss.
Okay.
And they're gonna only play each other once before there's a playoff because obviously golf season's gonna come back, so there's only so much time for, But I'm gonna tell you some interesting rules that they added in here.
Talk to me.
There's a 40-second shot clock.
There's a shot clock in this?
So the 40-second is though once you play the ball. Once your ball is there, then now when you step up to it, now boom, your 40 seconds starts.
Okay.
So you also have 2 timeouts per each hole, like from hole 1 to 9, the team holes, and then from holes 10 to 15, the 1v1 holes, you get 2 timeouts. The timeouts can be used to ice someone. The timeouts can be used to kind of think over your strategy for a hole.
Okay,
So it kind of
okay.
adds like a little. And then they have like a cool little thing which is called the hammer, and it's like a shout out to Mjolnir. Sam, I know you like
Oh,
that. It's like a
Thor!
little gold towel. So you
Oh,
flip a coin essentially to decide who starts with the hammer. And if someone waves the hammer, it means you're making that hole worth 2 points.
oh, if you
not
win.
worth one. Make it two.
Ah.
If the
Ooh.
other team declines, they forfeit
get
that hole and you
declined.
get the point on that hole.
Oh, what?
Then
What?
yeah, and then you
What?
have to give over the hammer to their possession. So
Ah.
each team gets one chance to use the hammer a game, essentially.
Wow.
All right. I mean, sorry, what were you saying?
So no, it's pretty cool. It's just there's a lot of like I feel like fun little rules that like go into it. You can tie, obviously. What like you can be tied at the end of 15 holes, and if that happens, there's kind of like a shootout, like penalty style, which is the
Oh.
first two players on one team to be closest to the pin. You hit, and whoever's closest to the pin, until a team has the two closest shots, then that team wins the shootout.
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, I like it. I like the idea of adding something fun and innovative. I think that there's some time to work out some kinks because I know there were some talks about some wonkiness with some tee shots, So
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did hear, a couple things. Thank you, Mikey, for introducing the TGL to our fans and to our viewers. I think it's an amazing new sport that is coming to the game of golf. As a guy who loves the game of golf, who's a fanatic of the game of golf, who my golf buddy moved across the country on me, but he's gonna be coming back eventually. It's all good. Yeah, I think this is a great sport. I think this is really cool. I'm looking at the investors here. People like Steph Curry, Shaq, Dwayne, KD. We got Mike Trout, Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Even my boy Justin Timberlake put a little couple dollars on the floor because he thought this joint was gonna be hot. So I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do over the course of the year. I do know there was a little situation with Tiger Woods sailing a green by 20 yards, which he has never done in any tournament of his life. But again, we're on a virtual reality simulator where we're hitting into a foam little thing. We're not hitting in real life, so it's a little different. Tiger's used to the real world thing. It's gonna take him a second to get right. Other than that, though, when can we play? Listen, TGL, I'm telling you guys right now, we are supporters. We love the golf game. You know what I'm saying? I'll bring my little clubs. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm trying to get on that course. I'm trying to see what it is.
I have a couple questions for you, Mikey, about this TGL league. So you're saying like when you hit the driver, you're hitting it to the simulator, right? But how do you know the location of the ball when you putt it? Do you like see the screen and then place it down?
precisely.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's essentially like AI and the simulator itself, which will adjust accordingly to that. So you can set up, depending on the hole, the placement of the bunkers, etc., and your approach shot. So when you're within 50 yards,
Yeah.
it's only once you're within 50 yards.
And then the ball just drops into the thing in the middle. Interesting.
Precisely.
So then you said one other question I had was you said this is the off season of golf right now, and that they have to hurry it up before the season starts. So are you saying that in this league, like all PGA pros are eligible to participate in this tournament?
Yeah, well, essentially, the whole league is comprised of PGA Tour professionals such as Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Rory McIlroy, of course, and Tiger Woods, but also like Hideki Matsuyama, Adam Scott, all of these sort of players that we see in,
Gotcha.
Colin Morikawa, Justin Rose, just to name a few that I'm running through right here, Ricky Fowler,
Okay.
so Xander Schauffele. So we're looking at all PGA Tour players. Once the major tournament season comes around, of course, guys are going to be gaming and prepping for
their
the
own
major season,
right. The Masters
But
or everything.
it is pretty cool, I gotta say. The simulator is huge, 64 by 53 feet. The simulator,
Damn.
right?
Wow.
That's huge. Where can they kind of hold a place like this? Did they have an event recently? What was going on? Where did they play?
Yeah, well, it's SoFi Center.
Oh shoot, that's big money right there. That's a huge
SoFi
stadium.
Center, yeah.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you have enough room because it's basically made up of all the zones that they create for like the green zone, the back box, and the front box
Mm-hmm.
are put on a football field essentially because
It's
like
not bad.
that's the size that you have
Nice for part three.
to rock there. Yeah, so.
Baby
I think
part
it's gonna be
three.
cool. I think it's fun. It's not gonna be that many more games because there's already been the first round of games, and you only play. There's 6 teams total, and you only play each team once. So you have 5 games, and then
Mm.
the bottom 2 teams are eliminated. Number 1 plays number 4. Number 2 plays number
Number
3,
three.
and then the final 2 play a best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have, you know what I'm saying? If you guys got some time, MSD, you're gonna have to check it out too. This might be
Sure.
something cool.
I'm checking the next game. It's Tuesday, February 4th. Boston Common Golf against the LA Los Angeles Golf Club, and also 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on ESPN.
Okay,
Get
Boston
it?
come. I like that.
Yes,
I
sir.
like that.
We're gonna have to talk about business. So
I like that. I like that. That's kind of a cool new sport to kind of get into right now. I kind of like it.
yeah. So, my last closing thought as we wind down the night, because to introduce, we ain't gonna introduce too much at once, but we will have to talk a little about March Madness. I know college basketball
Oh, right.
ain't our
It's coming
It's
around
huge,
the
coming.
corner.
that ain't our stomping grounds, but we're gonna have to start thinking about it a little bit, boys, because we got March Madness coming up, and you know that bracketology is gonna be coming up.
Oh,
So
you
I just
already
want to put
know.
that on y'all radar. Want to put that on the fans' radars, and I'm gonna send it off to my guys for y'all final thoughts.
I mean, guys, it's very great to just be here with the crew talking again. You know what I mean? We're talking about technology during our referee during NFL. It crapped right on me because I was talking mess. So I got to love on the technology a little bit more so they can love up on me. Other than that, though, I'm really excited about this TGL. I think you guys should really take care of it. Check it out. I'm really excited about our NFL episode that we're going to be talking about next week, our Super Bowl one. Please check that out as well. I know we're going to be coming with that soon. And the GM, Sam, I know he has a couple things. He hasn't been back in the building a little bit, so I'm waiting for him to start our next segment. So, Mr. Sam,
Yes, sir.
what
Yes,
what what are we
sir.
what are we thinking for the end of the night?
I like it. I like it. I mean, this TGL Golf League is pretty interesting. I feel like it's gonna bring more fans that don't like or don't watch golf in general. Because I feel like it's indoors, it's in a venue, and I feel like this can definitely bring new fans and younger fans into this new sport. So I'm very excited for this, and I might watch that game in the fourth. That Boston versus LA, I'm not gonna lie, that looks pretty good. But yeah, I feel like MSD Sports episode 13 looking pretty good, guys.
13.
Yes, sir. We'd like to thank all of our viewers, our listeners. RCR MSD Sports is on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and on YouTube. So you can check us out on all the platforms. Follow us on Instagram at RCR MSD Sports. My name is YPK at YPK up in here. And we got Mikey and Michael Jones, Stefano, and we got Camden and Mr. Club Paradise. And that was episode 13, everybody. We'd like to see you next time in our Super Bowl episode coming up, everybody. Peace.
Peace.